For more on this, let's bring in Maura Gillespie, founder of Blue Stack Strategies. She has advised politicians, including former House Speaker John Boehner. I didn't realize that Bernie Sanders had such a thin skin. I thought it was a pretty legitimate question there, whether AOC might end up in the Senate. And he stands up and walks out of the interview. What's that all about, Maura?
If I were his staff, I'd be pretty embarrassed and wondering the same question, John. I think that that was a fair question by John Carl, and I'm not sure why he got so flustered and upset by it. But the reality is that Democrats are looking for leadership. What Chuck Schumer did was, I think, inconsistent when it came to the budget deal. You know, he wasn't working with Hakeem Jeffries. There seemed to be some disconnect there, not having a conversation, not having a plan, a strategy together. But he ultimately realized that he had to stand down because they didn't have a way out of a government shutdown should they have tried to block the budget passing. So I just think that that's an awkward moment for Bernie Sanders. It's not going to play well. But to be honest, you know, the AOC and the Bernie Sanders rallies, sure, they're galvanizing Democrats to have something to kind of support, but they're not going to be the leaders of the party because the Democratic Party at large is not as far left as the two of them are. Well,
that's the interesting thing to me is, you know, they've been spending all this time together. We've got the picture on screen of the two of them, you know, with raised, joined hands like champions. They've been going on that Western tour together. So when he gets asked about her future in politics and stands up and walks out of the interview is kind of interesting. But let's move on a little bit. Ro Khanna is the California Democratic congressman who says that, well, I'll let him say it. Here's Ro Khanna.
Is it going to be a Tea Party? No, because the Tea Party wanted to basically destroy the government, tear down the government. Many Democrats, there's anger, but there's also aspiration. We want to build things like Medicare for all, like a living wage, and a lot of other policies. So you're going to see a new generation come in with a compelling economic message.
So he says a new generation of Democrats is coming in, but more, who are their leaders? Who is the leadership of the Democratic Party right now?
And that's the biggest problem. They don't have a leadership, so it's going to be really hard to get a coalition of people behind you if you don't have a leader and if you don't have a set plan. You know, it's great that he had a couple of those policy points to point out and say that they are going to be looking towards. But if you don't have the why and the how, I don't see how that gets done. And right now, you know, Democrats have largely been in the past few elections using Donald Trump as their, okay, here we are against him. Well, you can't just simply run on something that you're against and not show what you're for. And again, without leadership and without a plan of how to bring in people that they've really abandoned as far as the voting population, they're going to be in some trouble in the next election. And they can't just continue to bank on people being dissatisfied with what's currently happening. They've got to have a plan forward to get people to vote for them as well.
One of the things that seems to have people riled up is Elon Musk and his presence on the Department of Government Efficiency. We've seen all of these vandalism of Tesla cars, Tesla dealerships, Tesla charging stations. What, if anything, is that accomplishing, do you think?
Nothing other than breaking the law. I don't think that that's the way to send your message. I mean, people have a right to protest. They have a right to, you know, not buy Teslas. They can certainly, you know, not do that, not support him in those ways. But I don't know that the strategy of vandalizing cars is, again, I think people just go too far and they make politics their identity. And we have to remember that there's a whole host of other things going on in the world and that your politics doesn't need to consume you so much. But I just think that I do think the Democrats will, in the next election, like I said, they can't continue to just point to Donald Trump as the problem. So they may turn to Elon Musk. You're already seeing that kind of, some Democrats are fundraising off of, you know, he's taking away jobs, he's taking away your rights. So they're really making Elon Musk the target of a lot of their frustrations.
So
they haven't seen benefits to using Trump doing it.
Are there any Democrat leaders that you've seen, you know, condemning these attacks, condemning the violence against, you know, properties that are perceived to be Elon Musk's?
I haven't, but then I also wonder, does that set a precedent moving forward or down the line? Should something happen by a big, you know, Republican or Democratic supporter, what will they then say? You know, they might cry wolf if they want to hear people be outraged over things. So I do think that people need to remember that being objective is important because hypocrisy tends to run rampant. And in these moments, there is a lot of silence at the violence, and it shouldn't be encouraged, but it should definitely be condemned.
All right. Blue Stack Strategies founder Maura Gillespie Maura, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, John.
You bet.